Okay. Hello. Okay, so welcome to my book review. This will be a segment on my YouTube page to do a bunch of book reviews on multiple books, nonfiction, fiction, whatever I want to do. That's the goal. And the first book, The Beautiful Honor, I have. This is the first book, Maya Angelou. I know why the cage bird sings. Honestly, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100 in every way to measure this book. It exceeds my expectations, your expectations, everyone's expectations. It's amazing. I cannot emphasize that enough. Okay, so I am going to do a book review, and just for a little FYI, this is a bibliography of her life, and this is of a series, which I didn't know before starting. I honestly, to be frank, I generally thought I didn't know much about Maya Angelou, so when I bought this book, I was like, oh, maybe it's like a book of poems. Like, no. The reason she's such like a respected author is because she represents the Black Southern experience, the 1930s, in such a way of elegance, dignity, and beauty, and her self-discovery and acceptance and love for her life. With humor as well, above all else, humor. She's amazing at that. Yes, this is her first bibliography again, so that only goes through when she's really young. I mean, I'm talking like 3 or 6, okay? All right, that's when we meet her. All right, and then this goes all the way up to she's 16, so that's all this covers. But that is a lot to cover. All right. Also, I might be talking a little fast, but that just comes out of passion, and also just comes out of me being a bit nervous, I guess, as usual. Okay, but I do want to dive in, and so I just talked about Maya Angelou, so I might just set up the characters and the stage again, just to get into it, and then we can talk about the plot. All right, so first off, we're with Maya Angelou, and that is not her legal name. Her actual name is Marjorie Wright Johnson. Okay, Marjorie Wright Johnson, and it's not Margaret. I first read it as that, but no, it's very much so Margaret Wright, and she goes short by Riddy or Righty. So cute. All right, and then her brother, her only sibling, is Bailey Johnson. All right, then after Bailey Johnson, we have her grandmother, which she lives with and who is her primary caretaker while she's in Arkansas Stamps. All right, she goes by Mama though. Both her brother and Riddy, they call her Mama. All right, and then Uncle Willie is her grandmother's son, so this is their uncle, and this is their biological uncle as well as their biological grandmother, if that wasn't stated. And yeah, okay, let's jump into their characteristics while we're here. So Margaret, she deals with everything with humor, and that's something she's developed. When we first meet her, she's almost on the timid side. She is someone who is, I guess, a little bit more passive, and someone who is a huge observer. That is how I meet her. She observes all people around her, and that is how she learns. That's how she indulges in the world. And I think that's why she's such a good storyteller, because we're also looking at this in the 1930s, the Southern lifestyle. That's how we're seeing this. I mean, we're first introduced to the store that her grandmother works. Actually, excuse me, her grandmother owns. In the sense that, I mean, in the 1930s, that's post-Reconstruction era, and that's the first, we're still transitioning to a lot of things. So it's not uncommon to see people who still work as cotton pickers within the Black community, in the Southern community, as they just want a job to work for, and there wasn't much to strive for in the economic spaces for anyone who was of Black origin, right? Okay, so we're there and we're meeting the store, meeting these people, and it's through these huge ideas and nuanced we're looking at a nuanced, systematic oppression in a way, but yet we're introduced to it through just slang. I mean, we're meeting these people and they're like, they're talking about, hey, can I get some peanuts to go? And they got these ragged clothes and they have their sacks, and she's a young girl and this is what she's seeing. This is her life, and from the beginning we're seeing this in a loving, warm nature that doesn't diminish or denounce the harsh and cruel world in which she was born into. Oh man, I think I described that really well, I'm not gonna lie. They did. Okay, so that's how you see the store, and the store is a huge part because that's kind of like the basis of our like setting, as well as her home, of course. But that and her school, we're always at the store. Okay, that's another thing. The story is incredibly honest. It's incredibly vulgar at times. I mean, it's dealing with huge concepts. Primarily race. We're looking at race. We're looking through the Black perspective. and it's something that shouldn't be minimized in the context at all. And she does a really great job of doing that. And so if this is your first book, as much as she is an amazing poet, she is an amazing storyteller at all, and she keeps it honest, she keeps it real. So with that being said, if this is your first book, just come in knowing that there is a historical background to kind of be addressed before you're diving in. There's things that, I mean, she doesn't keep it small. She talks about lynching, she talks about again, like I just described, like a small glimpse into the economic state of the black reality, right? Okay. And then she dives into this idea, not this idea, but like she gives us the perspective of the black church. You know, there's a whole, this is probably one of the longest chapters of the book, and she's describing the experience and the beauty of coming together in the community on Sundays, but also as this big festival where multiple churches come together, and it's this whole big ordeal. And you know, that is the book, that is the heart of the book, and it is phenomenal. But let's go back to the characters. Let's go back to the characters. Okay, so we are looking at Bailey, right? Okay, Bailey is, I call him the translator for Maya. They are the same brain cells in some sense. They have the same humor, but they're also each other's rock. He is 3 years older than her, so there's a lot of senses where they're making friends in the first couple of chapters where he is kind of the leader, I guess, of her life. And you know, he introduces her to people, and you know, they've been through a lot together, so that is her person. And she always says that she just really loves him and that she just views him in such a great light. He is described as smart, charismatic, and really beautiful, like very, you know, his actual features are very attractive. But you know, she thinks this is a 6-year-old girl, so she just, you know, she just has these ideas of beauty. That's another thing, you know, self-discovery. I mean, Maya, she does a really good job at describing what it's like to be a young black woman. And so this is again the 1930s, so this is line in the second page of the book. We're first meeting her. And this is where I describe her humor and these huge ideas of like nuanced perspectives about like black identity and something. And she's talking about this. Watch, okay. As I watched Mama put ruffles of the hem and cute little tucks around the waist, I knew that once I put it on, I looked like a movie star.